Greetings, seekers of the hidden and the mysterious, and welcome back to the Secret Scriptorium. Today, I will share a small tale called Under the Eternal Veil. Let us begin. In the mist-laden shadows of a forgotten Transylvanian village, the old church bell tolled a mournful lament, echoing a solitary refrain of dread across the sullen stone houses. Its dirge danced in harmony with the wind that swept down from the mountains, carrying with it whispers of a dread legend, a tale shrouded in centuries of fear. Katarina, a young maiden of the village, held to a life of pastoral simplicity, was now entangled within the dark tapestry of this narrative. Her sapphire eyes, once alight with curiosity and life, now mirrored the haunted anticipation that hung over the village like a shroud. Katarina was beautiful, her raven tresses cascading like a midnight waterfall against the pallor of her moon-kissed skin. There was a grace about her, an elegance that was unsettling in its quiet intensity. The day had waned into the consuming abyss of twilight when Katarina, tending her dying father, heard a peculiar rapping at the heavy oak door. A stranger appeared on the threshold, tall and lean, his eyes a curious shade of crimson beneath the shade of his hooded cloak. He spoke in tones of silk and shadow, identifying himself as Count Valerian, a nobleman from the far reaches of the Carpathian Mountains. As days turned to weeks, Count Valerian became a regular visitor, mesmerizing the villagers with his extravagant tales of distant lands, stirring in them a strange mix of fascination and unease. His allure was most potent on Katarina, who was drawn to him with an intensity she could hardly fathom. The nights became colder, and with the falling temperatures came an inexplicable malady that plagued the villagers, causing pallor and weakness, as though their very life was being siphoned away. Desperate prayers fell from hushed lips, echoing across the desolate landscapes, unheard and unanswered. One evening, as twilight kissed the village into darkness, Katarina discovered the terrifying truth. In the privacy of the Count's dwelling, his true form was revealed in the silvery mirror light of the moon. Valerian was no man, but a creature of the night, a vampire, born from the ashes of death and bound by the crimson thread of an unending thirst for life. In the dead of the night, his voice echoed in her ears, a chilling whisper wrapped in the velvet of his ungodly charm. "I've walked the earth for 1,000 years," he confessed, his voice heavy with a mournful nostalgia, endlessly searching for someone to share the eternity of my existence. "In you I see a companion for my eternal solitude." Overwhelmed, yet entranced by the potent intimacy of his confession, Katarina made her choice. A choice born not out of fear, but a profound and complicated love. She offered herself willingly, her crimson life force flowing into Valerian, sealing their unholy union. As the village succumbed to its final death throes, Katarina and Valerian left, drawn by the promise of eternal life. The village was left in silence, a ghostly monument to an age-old curse, with nothing but the distant tolling of the church bell to mourn its passing. The mist-heavy twilight wept over the abandoned village, carrying the story of its tragedy to the four corners of the world. A poignant ode to humanity's dance with the supernatural, the vampire, the maiden, and the dying village faded into the annals of time. Yet another legend born amidst the verdant valleys and towering peaks of the haunted Carpathian Mountains. As for Katarina and Count Valerian, their saga continues. Lost in the labyrinth of time, bound by a love as profound as it is cursed. They traverse the earth, solitary creatures, bathed in the chilling embrace of immortality. Eternity stretches before them, a cruel blessing that binds them in its relentless grasp. As they whisper their tale into the silence of the night, in the aftermath of the vanished village, the world slipped into an oblivious tranquility, unaware of the passing of an epoch. As Katarina and Valerian traveled onward, they carried with them the silent echoes of a tale too sorrowful to recount. The desolate wilderness stretched out before them, their journey mirrored in the unfathomable depths of the night sky. In their silence, the mournful whispers of the dead village played like a tragic symphony, a cacophony of unanswered prayers, tales of woe, and the last lamentations of dying hearts resonated within them. Katarina, once a beacon of purity and innocence, had transformed into a darkened reflection of herself, a creature drawn to the somber lure of the night, her senses heightened to an otherworldly degree. Every rustle of the wind, each sigh of the earth, every glimmer of the distant celestial bodies, they were all starkly perceptible. Katarina was part of the world as she had never been, and the world was part of her. She was immortal, eternal, a daughter of the moonlight now. Her heart beat with a rhythm that echoed the stillness of eternity, while her eyes gleamed with unnatural allure. The essence of life, a life she would never lead again, coursed through her veins. Count Valerian, meanwhile, wore the mantle of eternal life as though it were a second skin. His noble bearing had not faded, but had instead been heightened by his vampiric nature. His crimson eyes were pools of ancient wisdom, reflecting a myriad of forgotten epochs. His movements were a spectral ballet, both graceful and deadly, and his voice was the call of the night itself. He was a master of his cursed existence, a pariah crowned with the gift of time. Together they traversed the shadowed landscapes, learning of each other and their newfound existence. Valerian, the seasoned vampire, taught Katarina the art of survival, the methods of satiating their unholy thirst without succumbing to the beast within. In turn, Katarina's innocence and her courage offered him a refreshing perspective. A mortal's heart, beating in an immortal shell. Their journey took them to the far corners of the earth, where civilization was a mere whisper against the grandeur of the wilderness. They watched kingdoms rise and fall, civilizations born and perish. They became spectators of the grand play of time, bearing witness to humanity's evolution, its victories and its follies. The law of the supernatural swirled around them, binding them closer to each other. It was in the silence of the world's darkest corners that their bond deepened. A bond born from shared torment and mutual understanding. There was an ethereal beauty in their damned existence, a profound poetry written in the language of the night. Yet the heart of the mortal girl who once was Katarina still throbbed within the chest of the vampire maiden. It pulsed with the rhythms of love and loss, of longing and lament. It yearned for the light even as it reveled in the dark. And in its struggle, it found solace in the shared eternity with the vampire count. Through the centuries, Katarina and Valerian would travel. They would learn. They would endure. They were creatures of the night, born of blood and bound by eternity. And though they bore the burden of their existence, they also reveled in the exquisite curse that was their immortal life. The world moved on, spinning its tale of life and death. The story of the lost village was carried forth by the winds, sung by the forests, and wept by the clouds. Yet within the heart of the immortal maiden and the vampire count, it remained as poignant as ever, a reminder of their mortal lives and a testament to their eternal journey. And so, they continue, walking through the annals of time, whispering their story into the silence of the night. Theirs is a tale of love, of loss, of eternal longing, a tale whispered in hushed tones under the light of the full moon, a tale recounted with reverence and trepidation, a tale of a maiden and a count, bound by blood and condemned to eternal night. Theirs is a tale that defies time, a tale as enduring as their undying existence. As we end today's tale, I hope that you've enjoyed this short story. Join us next time on the Secret Scriptorium as we further unravel the enigmatic world of the arcane and the ancient. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive updates on our thrilling explorations.